Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful and we're beautiful and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't exactly news as such, because most of you already know this to be true, but the game developers and the writers for Dragon Age the Veilguard hate you. And they have been on social media basically mocking the criticism that you and I have had for this game. That the character designs look awful, that nothing really seems to flow or work, that there is this agenda, there is the message that's getting away or getting in the way of this being a game that is even remotely interesting to most people. And so if we go to Mark Kern's timeline, we can take a look that he's been documenting this. And so here we have, it gets much worse. Former and current BioWare Dragon Age writers mock gamers and poo-poo their feedback openly on social media, claim Veilguard companions are 201 absolute smoke shows. Okay, so they're lying, blatantly lying. They're delusional. These people are freaks. They're mentally ill. They don't have the ability to take criticism, which criticism in some cases can be worthless, but in a lot of cases, if you sift through it, there are gems that will make you better. So here we have, they say that they're absolute smoke shows while gamers hate the new designs. This shows how little they think of you. Don't buy games from developers that hate you. And this is the point. BioWare needs a win. And these people, I just don't get it. These people should be on their knees begging, please give us a chance. But this game's going to be great. Every moment of their online interaction should be about how great this game is, how excited they are. They should be talking about, gamers are gonna love this. Gamers are gonna look at this as the best game that BioWare has ever made. They're gonna put us back on the map. This is gonna be phenomenal. Every moment should be them fighting for their career, for their paycheck, for their reputation. And instead, what do? They're too busy complaining. They're too busy lamenting the fact that you don't like the shit that they're putting out. So here you've got David Gator, who says, the females aren't hot enough. Yet because they've clued into the notion, this is obviously incel behavior. So acknowledging the fact that these characters are ugly and don't look good and are poorly designed. And this character, it was revealed, has an Adam's apple and a man jaw, because of course they do, because this game is being designed by mentally ill, degenerate, bottom-feeding, low IQ freaks that think that it's more opportune to go out and try to shit on your potential audience than actually do the work required to make the game good, to make the game designed for the audience that you're trying to appeal to. Apparently, you want to fail and fail again. How is this person not fired today immediately, and then the company's condemning them and everyone associated with them? How are they not doing mass firings? Do you understand the state that BioWare is in? Are you aware? They're doing a Knights of the Old Republic remake, and BioWare isn't even invited. I want you to really think about that. The company that put Knights of the Old Republic on the map wasn't even invited to work on the remake. That is how shockingly poor the state of BioWare is. And yet they have people going out online trying to chastise audiences. You need a Hail Mary win, and by everything that we've seen, this is going to be a lackluster abomination. The art design and direction looks like shit. We see the message and wokeness being crammed in. There's nothing about this that screams that this is going to be the next step in gaming evolution, that this is going to be something that puts BioWare back on the map. And you're talking about incels. You're talking about incels. They've swapped out unattractive for masculine and thus transgender. You have an Adam's apple on a female character, you fucking freak! Your characters look disgusting. Not just unattractive, they look hideous. No one's going to play this. Are you insane? Who do you think you're appealing to? Twitter freaks? Twitter freaks are not going to play your game. They're going to watch somebody else play it on a stream and then comment on it. Oh, wow, she looks so good. She looks so brave. You are pandering to an audience of none. Because that's a framing that makes them seem political instead of porn-brained. You're porn-brained. You don't understand the delineation between men and women because you're such a pervert. You're such a disgusting freak that you want to enable these kinks and these fetishes, these disgusting amalgamations of other, porn addict behaviors. Instead of just making an attractive woman and an attractive man, you try to blur these lines because you're a freak. You're a disgusting, bottom-feeding degenerate. You're gross. Here I am, recalling how this has been a thing ever since some dudes whined 10 years ago about Cassandra being a man. Cassandra from Dragon Age 2 was a masculine character. Was not appealing. Do you understand? And here's the thing. You can bitch all you want on the internet. You can whine and you can complain and caterwaul and incels. But guess what? Korea, Japan, China. They're eating your lunch. Because they're willing to make attractive characters. They're willing to make women that are smoking hot and do it in a variety of different outfits and armors. You can have a female character that's really attractive who's a knight. You can have her be a mage. You can have her be just about anything you want because they're willing to do it. They have women who are attractive, and it isn't porn brain. It's just simple, basic, attractive features. They don't want to fight for a woman who's ugly, or in the case of Dragon Age 2, who's an absolute whore like Isabella. Nobody wants the type of filth that you low IQ, degenerate freaks are putting into gaming. They don't want your ideas. They don't like them. They don't agree with them. Your writing is bad. Your character chemistry is bad. Their designs are bad. And if you had an ounce of respect for the art in which you claim, you would be doing everything to redesign and make them as cool as possible. Instead, you're trying to defend this shit. You're trying to defend this disgusting. So here we continue. Trick Weeks, which came after them complaining that none of the women in Dragon Age 2 were up to their standards either, which is true. That's absolutely true. And if you were smart, you would have taken that feedback. If you were smart, you would have taken that feedback. Isabella being, and I quote, too exotic. How about too much of a whore? That was the criticism from most people. That they didn't want to romance somebody that they might fear that they may get a digital STD. Oh, I absolutely remember those exact words. You see, here's the thing that's so funny. These people use this as a coping mechanism to cover up the fact that they are shit at what they do. Because I seem to recall that there's a favorite character in an anime called Bleach. And the character is named Yoruichi. And she's dark-skinned. And she's an absolute fan favorite. I don't think I've ever heard anyone call her too exotic. Maybe too erotic, but that's more like a compliment for a lot of these people. They have no problem with Yoruichi. In fact, one of the favorites is a pose of her in this like impossible position where her ass is in the air and like her back is arched and she's about to like spring into an attack like a cat. And it's an impossible move, but they really, really like it. I remember that about Isabella, which is super weird given how some are using her as their example of good female design. I love Isabella. She was a hoot. But that portion of people did not believe this back then. Physically, she was attractive, but her character was absolutely terrible. She was a whore, and nobody really wanted to date somebody that was that promiscuous or romance them. The mantra of the BioWare fan is, the game about to come out is garbage. Why didn't you make it exactly like the last game, which was perfect? Repeat this every game launch until the heat death of the universe. I don't think there's anyone clamoring for you to make the game in the same way as the last games, because your last games have been dog shit. Maybe this was true at one point, but people just want you to make a good game. With no diversity, equity, and inclusion, none of your bullshit, none of your propaganda, none of your left-wing spin, none of your, women with Adam's apples and mannish jawlines and other ridiculous, disgusting characteristics. They just want an authentic experience, and that doesn't seem to be something that you can deliver to them. Rage baiters are suddenly in love with Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 was a decent game. Decent. Not great. Not as good as Origins. And I'm like, get off my lawn. Some of us were here first. But it's true, though. The new thing will always suck completely and totally. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. You see, we just got a myriad of new games, and this is these people coping because they can't stand the fact that what they're doing is garbage. They can't handle the criticism. Black Myth Wukong, people love that. Space Marines 2, people love that. Helldivers before they ruined it. People love that. People are more than willing to try something new, try something innovative. But you continue to produce garbage. And then expect people to go along. Elden Ring. Elden Ring is another example. You expect people to consume your slop. And when they don't, you lash out because you're basically mentally children. You're low IQ. You don't have any sort of respect for your audience. If you did, you'd keep your mouth shut, you learn your place, you'd get to work, you'd make a good product, and then you can celebrate all you want once you have the accolades behind you, but you don't. You don't have any credentials at all. You don't have any laurels to stand on anymore. You're a joke. Do you understand how humiliating it would be if you, as writers, as developers, as designers, as a company, are not invited to work on Knights of the Old Republic remake? You weren't invited. And you know what? No one was clamoring for you to be. That's how low your reputation is. A game that BioWare made famous, people don't want them involved because you're that shit. You're that garbage. Now, digest that, you bottom-feeding subhuman freaks. You can lash out at people all you want, but the reality is that every time you do, it's another dollar fluttering away. It's another positive viewer going away. Every time you do this, every time you freaks decide that you're going to have a tantrum, it's just another minute shorter until your ultimate demise as an employee of BioWare, because the company, well, let's face it, the brand BioWare is going to be there, but you may not be, because you're going to be fired. You're going to be let go. They're going to use it as a shell company. They're really just going to use BioWare as a flashlight. There's nothing going to be in there that's actually worth a damn. And it's all going to be because you people can't do your job. You're too busy focusing on the message and shitting on fans, and you don't have a single ounce of care for the damage that you've done to this once reputable company. Instead of actually listening to the fans, you're much more comfortable shitting on them. And at the end of the day, there's no amount of shaming or complaining that's going to compensate for your bad writing, your bad story, your bad graphic. I mean, oh God, look at this. Disgusting. And you have the audacity and gall putting out a product this inferior to come and complain to the audience? Oh, the audience doesn't accept our changes. They must be bad people. They must be incels. That's your coping mechanism. But the reality is that people see you for what you are and they don't like it. BioWare writers, you only like beautiful women because you are porn brain. Meanwhile, BioWare, Baldur's Gate 3 sex noise specialist leads Dragon Age the Veilguard cast. You're porn brain, right? Like I mentioned, that guy is a freak. They're all freaks there. They used the word incel because they want to disparage you, but the reality is that if they were doing their job, they wouldn't feel the need to lash out this way. These people are despicable. They're disgusting. They're untalented. They're unworthy. They're ungrateful. They don't understand that they have an opportunity. You have the name Dragon Age. It used to mean something. It doesn't mean anything because of you bottom feeders. Because of you degenerate lowlives, the game means nothing. The Veilguard, what does that even mean? Nobody cares. Nobody's going to be invested in this game. You think this is going to be the next big thing? You think this is going to be Game of the Year? Are you kidding yourself? If you put a fraction of the effort into making the game good that you did shitting on fans, you might have a chance. Spotted. Dragon Age the Veilguard. Scout Harden has a Madam's apple. That is an Adam's apple, but it's a Madam's apple. Yeah, because that's what these people do. They make ugly characters. They add Adam's apples and jaws because they're more interested in basically being a freak. In tolerating freakdom and degeneracy and fetishes and kinks and all this other disgusting behavior that these lowlives engage in. This is basically Tumblr the studio. And so you're all porn braid, incels, chudge, says former Dragon Age lead writer. You're the worst people in the world. It's ridiculous because every female character in Dragon Age is gorgeous with the exception of Sister Patrice. No, that is absolutely not true. They're just mad because they aren't white. This fat, disgusting creature, and I don't even know who this person is, but I know who this person is. You know what I mean? You can just tell from the look of them. They have no answer to why a lot of these characters in anime that are not white are doing so phenomenally well. They have no answer to it. They don't know why people like Yoririchi. They don't know why people look at some of these other characters and are like, wow, these characters are really good. We really, really like them. They say, oh, it's because they're not white. Really? Well, a lot of the characters are white, and they still didn't like them. That mannish knight character from Dragon Age 2, the little like gross looking elf from Dragon Age 2. Nobody liked them, and they're white. So what's your excuse? What is it now? What other excuse do you have to come up with in your own mind to avoid taking any responsibility for the fact that you're a disgusting freak, you're a disappointment to everyone and everything that you've ever worked on? You have ruined the reputation of this company to the point where, I will repeat it one more time for those who may have just tuned in, BioWare is not being invited to work on Knights of the Old Republic remake. I want to repeat that one more time. BioWare has not been invited to work on the remake of Knights of the Old Republic. One more time. BioWare, the company that made Knights of the Old Republic famous, and made it famous. They put it on the map. It was a game worth talking about because of them. They have degraded so far that they are not invited to work on the remake. And looking at these comments, is it any wonder why? What you need to say, BioWare, is an Elon Musk style purge. You need to order 66. Go in there and say, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Oh, what? You're fat and you're a retard, and on your social media you were blaming white people. You're fired, you're fired. You've got rainbow colored hair, you're fired. Oh, what's that? You've got lesbian pronouns all over your t-shirt, you're fired. Get out. You're disgusting. You cost this company millions of dollars. You ruined its reputation. Get out. And you need to bring back some sweaty gamer nerds. Some gamer nerds who love this franchise, love gaming, love the business, to come and set things straight. But until then, you're going to get more of this sort of shit. You're going to get more of this. These people that hate you and refuse to acknowledge why they fail. They fail because they can't do the one job which they were hired to do, which is make a game that's worth playing, that has a great story. Elden Ring can do it. Black Myth Wukong can do it. Space Marines 2 can do it. All these other companies can do it, except for them. Except for Ubisoft, except for BioWare, except for these companies that prioritize hiring the most degenerate scum imaginable and putting propaganda over profits. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.